This is Our Rough Draft, a podcast, real talk for real relationships.
Welcome to Our Rough Draft, where we share real stories from marriage, work, life, and the adventures along the way. We'll laugh, maybe get real, and hopefully help you spark some new conversations in your own life.
I'm Denise, the wild, emotional one who loves words and big ideas.
And I'm Tim. I'm the practical level one who fixes what she dreams of.
And this is Our Rough Draft, where we share the stories we're still living. Hi, honey.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome to Our Rough Draft.
Welcome to Our Rough Draft.
Happy to be here today.
Me too.
Awesome. How you doing?
Good, although this morning was weird.
Yeah, tell me about that.
So strange. So I went to the gym like I usually do, but I get up super early to go to the gym, right when it opens. And I came home and you were upstairs. I don't think Mason was awake yet. And I sat down in the chair and literally fell asleep. And then that wasn't the worst part. I fell asleep and then I woke up, kind of startled myself and woke up. And I had no idea where I was, what time it was. I thought it was nighttime. I thought it was time for me to go into the bedroom and go to bed because I fell asleep in the chair. It was so weird. I never do that.
Yeah, it's your first day without work.
I know. Maybe that's I don't know.
We've lost him.
Big week.
Yeah.
First day without work, getting ready to go to Italy.
Yeah, so that is our topic
Bad.
for today is we're going to talk about travel.
Okay.
So that's what we're talking about. I changed up my notes a little bit, so get a little different feel for today, see if it flows a little bit better. But I just want to start with, we got a really cool compliment from Cooper about the podcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do tell.
He said, whatever day it was where he listened to the last episode, he said, I feel like I've already talked to you guys today because I listened to the podcast.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Cooper.
Yeah. Thatcher said nice things too. Mason refuses to listen. It's okay.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Okay. So today we're talking about travel, not just where we've been, but how those trips shape us, challenge us, and connect us to the world and to each other. So pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So let's rewind to some of our earliest trips and see how those planted the seeds for how we travel now. What? You have one in mind?
I do.
Tell me.
Well, I think we talked about it already on one of the other episodes, but it's the bridge episode, the incident with the bridge.
We went to the Oregon coast, and to get to Oregon, you have to go over the Columbia River from Washington.
Yeah. With
really big freaking bridges.
Giant bridges. Doesn't matter where you cross, because we crossed at Longview instead of going straight into Portland.
Right.
But the bridge was still, yeah. In fact, I think it was probably even worse because I think it was super narrow. Like when you cross into Portland, it's like 2 lanes, 3 lanes each way.
Yeah.
But at Longview, it's like 1 lane each way. So it's high above the river, narrow. So you refuse to drive over it. And this was early in our relationship.
So early, there were flowers waiting for me at the hotel.
Yeah. That was a great move on my part, obviously. But that was the first time I really came in contact with your bridge thing.
Yeah, I don't like them.
I know. I get
They
it.
fall down.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
More often than you'd like.
And our infrastructure in the country right now, not so good. Not investing in infrastructure. So bridges are old. You can check a website that tells you how old the bridges are. I don't
want to know. I'll just live in ignorance for a little while.
Okay.
Anyhow, that's the one that's memorable for me, really early.
Okay. We did a lot of Oregon coast in the beginning and Sun Mountain Lodge.
Yes.
And San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ones that's memorable for me is when I took you to Disneyland for the first time.
Oh, that was a nightmare. That was such a nightmare.
So I took him to Disneyland for the first time with my 2 childhood friends, sisters, Beth and Tanya, and the 3 of us have literally known each other since first grade, family vacations, all the things. And I decided what a great place for Tim to meet these women who are like family is to spend the entire day standing in line at Disneyland.
Yeah. I mean, you have to expect when you're in a relationship, there's going to come a point where you have to meet the friends and get approved, and you have to meet the family and get approved. Like those are just two gates you have to pass through, it feels like. And so I'm fine with those, but I'm not fine being held captive in the happiest place on earth with these two people that I feel like are going to either thumbs up or thumbs down me.
They're not like that though.
Well, I know that now,
Right.
but I didn't know that then when I was standing in line we were there the whole day.
Yeah. I remember specifically the line for Splash Mountain.
Oh, I remember the Matterhorn.
How funny. Yeah. Anyway, that was one of our first trips that I loved and I think about a lot. So today we are going to talk about travel. One of the quotes I wrote down was, "The world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page." And I feel like that is true. But those early trips gave us a sense of adventure and things that we wanted to do later in life.
Places that we wanted to go back to, core memories. I think one thing that's important to insert here is our family of 5 doesn't have a lot of traditions. We don't have a lot of like set in stone, we have to do X, Y, and Z, especially when it comes to things like the holidays. We've really gravitated away from holiday traditions. There's some that still hang around, but a lot of the traditions that we have are around travel. They're around when we go to see your mom in San Diego. This is just how things happen there. Who gets what room, where you put your stuff, the thing you do when you get there, how you leave the house to fly away or to drive away. Like those are very those are our traditions.
For sure.
And then our tradition around like Sun Mountain and how that became a massive part of our lives. That was something we looked forward to every year when we lived up there. That was a tradition.
Yeah.
It was an unorthodox tradition. I mean, not many families have getaway trips related to the Super Bowl, but we did.
Yeah.
That was us.
Yeah. In fact, as Cam was leaving this weekend, Mason stood outside and waited till we drove away and waved.
Yeah. And he came back inside and he said, "That was weird. I thought you were going to come back out and wave too."
Because that's what we do. You wave goodbye.
I didn't know that was something we did here. I thought that was only in San Diego.
Yeah. We took selfies and waved. So that was pretty cool. Well, do you want to talk about Sun Mountain before I get into the next question I have for you? Tell us a little bit about why it matters to us and then what that trip looks like.
Man, it's, I think, easier to describe what the trip looks like than it is to describe why it matters to us. That takes a little bit more time. So again, we had a tradition where, well, the tradition started completely randomly. So we had decided one year, boys were super young. We had decided that we were going to go away on Super Bowl weekend. I think we maybe didn't even know it was Super Bowl weekend.
I was pregnant
with
Satcher.
What?
Yeah.
Wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, decided to get away. So we drove.
Maybe pregnant with Cooper. I don't know. Time is a construct that I can't remember. We've been going to Sun Mountain Lodge since before we had children, but the Super Bowl trips started later.
Yeah.
Sometime.
Not critical for the story.
Nope.
Anyhow, made the drive over to Sun Mountain. So from the west side, it's 4 or 5 hours, especially at that time of year when the roads get a little bit dicey. So arrived at Sun Mountain Lodge. And if you've never been to Winthrop, Washington, and you've never seen Sun Mountain Lodge or just that area in general, you have to go. You 100% have to go. If you even remotely like beautiful views, beautiful lodges,
food.
If
you like food, you should go to Sun Mountain Lodge.
Yes, like
period.
if you like sitting on a bench outside, if you like cross-country skiing in the winter, mountain biking in the spring and summer.
I feel like this episode has turned into the Sun Mountain Lodge episode, and I'm okay with that.
It is so good.
Maybe we just stay with that.
Yeah. Anyway, so we go to the lodge, and it is, as we mentioned, Super Bowl weekend. So we had this plan. We were going to cross-country ski snowshoe. We were going to spend some time in the snow, and lo and behold, and we did those things. But the funniest part of the weekend was they were having a Super Bowl watch party in one of the ballrooms. So they would open up the ballroom, take all the comfy chairs, all the comfy couches out of the rest of the lodge, stuff them into this ballroom, set up a buffet, do games and raffles, and you would sit in there and watch the Super Bowl on one of many screens. And we just thought, well, we're here, let's go do it. Met some amazing people, because you're sitting in this ballroom with other people, lounging around, having food and drink. And then it became the yearly tradition. Every year, we would book that weekend to go away to Sun Mountain Lodge, and moved from the lodge itself down to the cabins on the lake, which were amazing, kind of remote away from the lodge, your own cabin right on the lake. The lake freezes over. You can ski on the lake. You can just sit and look at the snow, and it's quiet, peaceful.
I love this story, and I'm going to tell you, you missed a part. The first year that we went to Sun Mountain Lodge for Super Bowl, we didn't know it was Super Bowl. I put it in place. It was before we got married. We were getting ready to get married. So it was between September and April.
So it was February of 2001.
Yeah. And we went, and they were having a Super Bowl party. But don't you remember that first year? It was literally in that lobby to the ballroom, and it was only one table and one TV and us and one other couple.
I don't remember that part.
Oh, yeah. And I'm going back in time. That might have been the second year. The first year, we just watched the game in the bar. The second year was the party with just like 4 of us. And then it built from there, and it just kept building. And you would ski, and then you would go to the lodge, and it was time to like open the doors for the Super Bowl party. And we would find the couch we liked and get our area. And with toddlers, so they were taking over the space. And year after year, we would go. And eventually, they would just put a sign on our area that said reserved for the Waters family, with a picture of our Christmas card from that year. And we would just have that whole corner to ourselves. It was amazing. And they stopped doing it, which is so sad. So I think we were there every year but one when they had it, because we were at home for the year that we lost to the Steelers. I'm not sure why, but we ended up going all those other years.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, that in and of itself was cool, but just everything else around the weekend. And that also had a lot of tradition with it. What you packed to eat at the cabin, how we arranged things in the cabin once we got there.
Yeah, at games, the boys would always have a babysitter, so we would have date night.
Yeah.
Once they got old enough, I think it was their 13th birthday, they got to join us for the Saturday night dinner.
Yeah.
So that was super fun, and have fancy desserts, and literally, you guys, food and wine, just incredible. The chefs there are amazing. But can you tell a story about why we love Sun Mountain so much? Skiing is amazing. Super Bowl tradition is amazing. But there was one dinner.
So it was just the 2 of us. So this was clearly before we were...
No, it was when you were on leave. On the first deployment.
So we got a babysitter.
My mom came up, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jerry.
Yeah, she does.
So the 2 of us went over there, and traditional dinner in the restaurant. But I don't even know if I can describe it. We had a waiter. I believe his name is Bob.
Yes.
He was like, if you made up what the perfect waiter is, it was Bob. So super personable, kind of willing to play along with our little back and forth, kind of, crazy. It found out that I was on leave and that we were there to celebrate, kind of have a special weekend away. We ordered dinner. Bob kept bringing us other things. Like, you have to have, you have to try this, this cocktail before your food arrives. And then you have to have this sorbet to cleanse your palate before I bring the wine. And then I'm going to bring the wine. But I'm also going to bring this other thing to taste, because I want you to compare the 2 wines. And let's do that. And then like another sorbet to cleanse your palate before dinner. And then I bring dinner and then something to, nibble on. And then I'm going to bring dessert. And then there's a little aperitivo, like a little aperitif, like, a little port or sherry after dinner. Like Bob kept bringing stuff. And it was amazing. I mean, we were stuffed. We were hammered. Bob kept bringing like more wine, more alcohol. And he was so personable, and I thought they might give us the dessert for free, and he was kind of making hints at that. So anyway, after this marathon dinner, it was probably 4 hours.
Yeah, easily.
Just us talking, Bob's, checking in when necessary, came up to the table and said the entire dinner, everything was being covered by the lodge. And it
was amazing.
I was flabbergasted.
Yeah, it was so incredible. And we were staying, again, everybody should go to Sun Mountain Lodge. It is the best place in the whole world. But we weren't staying in the lodge at that time. We were staying out at one of the outer buildings, but still up on the lodge level, like the romantic building. And so we had to walk across the icy parking lot to get back to
in the dark,
hammered, like holding onto cars as we like skidded across the parking lot to get back to our room. It was amazing. And so there was a loyalty there, right? So not only had we been there, we loved it, and skiing was incredible, beautiful place, all of the things, but like Bob endeared himself to us, as did everybody else who worked there. And year after year, them getting excited to see the boys, how big have the boys gotten, putting our space aside in the ballroom for the Super Bowl. It was just incredible. I went there one time with my parents and the 2 older boys when you were in Iraq the second time. And I think that was Labor Day weekend. And they had a game room, and they had dial-up Wi-Fi in that game room so you could check your email. And my poor brother was in probably Louisiana at the time, and there was a hurricane coming. So we're all there having the time of our lives. And my mom would be like, "Can you check on him? Check on Eric." And I would go like to the dial-up and see if he was okay. And then we'd go back to our plane because there's no cell phone coverage there back in the old days.
Yeah. It was, I think, a legendary tradition in our family. It was, to your point, and not just because like one year they gave us free stuff, but just because, to your point, it just felt like home. It felt like people who knew us. It was our happy place. It was comfortable to us. It had everything we needed. Like the saddest times in my life are when we would drive away on Sunday or Monday and go home.
It was the last trip we took in Washington before we moved to Arizona.
Yeah.
In the summer, we went there.
Yep.
Right before they closed down, before they got evacuated for fire. Everything was fine, but it felt like a good closing to our time in Washington. That's Sun Mountain Lodge. We could talk about the one time we almost didn't go on Super Bowl weekend, but maybe we'll save that for a different day. So let's switch gears a little bit to keep talking about travel. But what was a pivotal trip for you in either our relationship or work? Is there a trip that stood out to you about just like, I'm always going to travel now because I took that trip?
I think I've mentioned in previous episodes how you really opened my mind to traveling. I mean, even something as simple as getting on a plane, flying to San Diego, or flying back to New Orleans for your brother's graduation from Tulane, or, just things like that were a normal part of your family never were for me. We just didn't get on planes and go places, or even really drive a lot of places. And your family just did. And then that kind of became a normal part of what we did, and really opened my mind to travel. I think the trip that was probably pivotal for me personally was the trip to Shanghai. Because I'd never been to really any foreign country for an extended period of time, minus like flying through an airport. And so I think that was a big deal for me to be able to go to a different country, see a different culture, see different customs, just see different things. And then Milan, like those international trips, I think really opened my eyes that I could travel internationally. That international travel was not this, big scary thing that I could never do.
Right.
Because flying to Mexico, on our honeymoon was one thing.
Right.
Going to Shanghai or Milan or just all these different places, that was completely different.
Yeah, for sure. What do you feel like is the hardest part of travel?
For us,
Sure.
I think sometimes it's the trip or even the time before the trip. I think packing for Sun Mountain and getting everything and everyone in the car, and that's a stressful time. I think packing to go camping, I think about some of the getting to is the stressful part, but then the trips themselves are great. So if you have to trade one for the other, I'd rather have stress and conflict in the up to the trip or up to the destination point, and then the destination is great.
Yeah, one of the things that I really liked that we did with the boys early on was making a packing list for them.
Yeah.
So we would type it up, print it off, give them each a copy and say, this is what you're responsible for packing for yourself. And I think recently, within the last year, we were going somewhere and Mason looked at me. He's like, where's my packing? I was like, I don't know, like print it yourself. He doesn't listen to this, so I can say bad things about him.
Right.
So that I think that helped. For me, what I think made it hard in those times is that it was always school season for Sun Mountain or right after school got out in summer. And so I was already exhausted or stuff was always going on. So then like trying to pack and get out the door, like was always one more thing. But here it is, Monday. We leave Friday morning at 6 a.m. Who's packed anything? No. Yeah. We're gonna be stressed later in the week. But this will be done, so it'll be fine.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. So what's the easiest or most natural part of traveling or being on the trip for you?
That's a good question. I think it's going to sound weird, but I think being there is the easiest because I think that my anxiety around travel is now non-existent or a lot less than it used to be. So I think that it's not just the trips themselves. Like nobody wants to wait in the security line at the airport, and flights sometimes are really bad because you're crammed next to everybody else. Like those aren't fun parts. And I think you know that, and I think you just have to accept it if you want to go someplace. But I think being there and being able to let go of all the daily routines back at home or all the things I think I need to do or all of the X, Y, Z. So I think now the trip itself, like the destination is the easiest part.
Yeah.
What about you?
I like being in new places, like seeing what's around me, getting my bearings. Where am I going to walk to? Where am I going to eat? Where am I going to find books? Where am I going to find fabric? Whatever it is, I like just the lay of the land. So I really, that first part of like getting in and seeing, I really like. So I like going to new places to do that.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I think about what you said about airports and that type of thing. I think that there's a risk there, though, of if you think that the traveling part is just to get through it, to get to the place, you can miss out on some opportunities. And I'm thinking back, I don't know what trip it was. There have been multiple times, though, that our boys in airports are pretty freaking phenomenal. So I know which one you're thinking about, but I'm thinking of a different one. So just hold your horses. Whoa. I remember the three of them lined up on a wall at the airport. And there was this other family with littler kids, like interacting with each other. And they were just watching it like it was a TV show. And then the little boy would like approach them like they were the big kids. And I just love that. I love interacting with kids mostly in travel situations or in new places because they aren't in their routines. They aren't doing their normal things. And it's just kind of a little bit of levity.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Tell it.
Well, for the record, and you're not going to believe me, but that was the one I was thinking of. So
Thatcher in his green Atari shirt. Can you picture it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell the story about the airport with Woody and Buzz stuffed animals right after Alcatraz, Thatcher.
Oh, God. So we were in San Francisco so that you could put on a concert on Alcatraz. This was the second one. Um, and we were flying back home. And so we were in the airport and I was sitting in the chair and Thatcher was 2 or 3, super young. And that's important because he went, you know, how airport chairs are set up in rows. He went, I think, around like the back, kind of out of my line of sight and down the row. You know, I was kind of looking for him to try and figure out where he was. Was he coming back? And I see him come cruising around the end of the row. And there was a girl, she was probably 18, 20 maybe, sitting at the end of the row. Thatcher comes cruising around the corner, walks past her, and you can almost hear like the squealing of the brakes. He stops, backs up so that he's in front of the girl, looks over at her and goes, and then just walks over to me. And I was mortified. I couldn't with this kid. I don't know. I have no idea where it came from. I literally have never taught our kids to do that. I don't know. He must have picked it up somewhere, but it was, in hindsight, the funniest thing that I've ever seen out of a kid that age. And the girl just started laughing and smiling, and she kind of, you know, looked and followed him as he went back. And I just did the kind of like, I'm so sorry, I didn't teach him that. Like, I'm not a creepy old dude.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah. And you weren't even there. You were,
Yeah.
and like, you missed this, like,
Pivotal moment of Thatcher's life.
an essential Thatcher moment. So.
Right. So what is something you learned about yourself through travel?
Like routine, like, I don't know if I like it. Maybe that's not the right word.
Conditioned?
I'm used to routine. I'm used to things being in the same place, traveling the same path, going to work goes this direction, going to whatever is this direction. Like that's the way. And travel forces you, especially new travel, like you're saying, forces you to be in a different place, look at different things, understand different things. Like something simple like, I want cookies for the hotel room and I am going to go to the grocery store. But guess what? It's not called Safeway where you are now. It's called who knows what. HEB. It's called Piggly Wiggly. I don't know. Like it's called something different. So just things like that where you realize that this is going to sound really stupid. So maybe we can edit this out later if it truly does sound stupid. But the thing that it showed me was there are millions and millions of people living in different places with different jobs and different families and different friends and different environments and like everything. And I think that's what you see. Mm-hmm. Like you see that there are these other people going about their daily lives in New Orleans or in Chicago or in some small town in Iowa, like that I think is eye-opening. And I think that leads you to have a better, bigger perspective on life.
Yeah. I had a quote about that for today. Travel makes one modest. You see what a tiny place you occupy in the world.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And travel changes you. And it should.
Yes.
And I think
100%.
that's really important.
You should let it change you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So let me share a little bit of mine because travel stretched me in ways I didn't expect. So I had kind of a summer of travel a couple of years ago where I went to the Cotswolds in England and London. And then I also went to Nantucket that summer. And eventually I ended up in Connecticut. I don't know. I was all over the place.
It was a very hoity-toity summer for you.
It was lovely. I loved it. I love traveling by myself, though, is what I discovered.
Mm.
I love being by myself in a new place and getting lost. We don't get lost anymore, right? With GPS, I used to get lost a lot. And you don't anymore because you always know where you are. Somebody's always tracking you. You can always find your way. Somebody calls you. Why are you there? But I was in a country with a group of people I didn't know and in a place I didn't know. And nobody was counting on me to get anywhere. And so I would just take a path and I would go and I would see where it would take me. I did that when I was in Milan with you as well. Like, how do I get to this other place? And let me go see what's here and let me take some pictures and watch the soccer game that's happening. Man, I love that. And I love being able to write in those moments and like capture my feelings and capture elements for a story in that way.
Yeah.
I just loved it. And when I'm done being alone, I want to be with my people. So I don't know why they got rid of the Concorde jet. Like, why don't we have supersonic flights anymore? Because that was pretty rad. Because was it unsafe?
Yeah, I think it's because it crashed.
Okay. Well, we don't want that.
No.
But like once I got done being by myself, I then wanted to be with my people. And I wanted that to happen immediately. But I think even in London, I was like, hi, honey, I'm staying a few extra days. And then I was like, and now I want to be home.
Yeah.
And I want to be home and I want to be in my pajamas and I want to sit on my couch and I don't want to leave the house. That's my always.
Done traveling.
Yeah. So we have this idea for, I think, my ultimate travel adventure that I want to try. I want to go to a place where neither of us have been before and spend a day and a half on our own, investigating, seeing the things we want to see about that city, and then meet up for dinner, like on the second day, and then spend the rest of the trip together. But that way we can show each other what we found.
Mhm.
We have something to talk about. I've gotten the wiggles out and now I'm ready to be with my person. And I think that could be the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I like that idea. I love the idea of using it as a way to further our communication,
Yeah.
to be able to talk about things, because I think you can slip into a shorthand in your daily routine. I know your daily routine, you know mine, and you just kind of get into this lull. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not bad. It's just that's what it is. But I love that idea about let's go and experience the same place, but in different ways, and open each other's eyes to the other way of seeing that place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. That just made me think about when we were in Mazatlan this last time and we went for the bike ride.
Oh, yeah.
So much fun. We rented bikes and went out and investigated until I like crashed.
Literally. Not like, oh, I was tired. We were tired, but literally crashed
Yeah. It was like I forgot how to ride a bike.
for like 2 seconds.
I put my phone in the basket and then it's cobblestones and giant holes. And I can ride cobblestones. I've rode cobblestones all over the world, I'll have you know, including Nantucket that summer. The cobblestones in Mazatlan eat me. So I hit this bump and my phone goes flying out of the basket. And that is when I forgot how to ride a bike because I was more concerned about my phone than riding the bike. So I stopped everything to grab my phone. I didn't get it. It landed in the street. But I am falling off the bike into traffic. Tim's behind me. It's going to crash into me. I was fine. My phone was fine, but it was funny.
Well, and then I forgot how to use coaster brakes as these bikes were so old. They don't have hand brakes like they have coaster brakes. So I was like, shit, how do I stop? I'm going to run her over and I need to stop, but I can't stop because there's nothing on the handlebars to stop me. It just like we both just lost our minds for that brief moment.
So what are you? We are headed to Italy to go to the Amalfi Coast with our friends Susie and Jeanette. Have a little tour planned. It's a big tour with a small amount of people. And I'm so excited. But what are you most excited for?
I think continuing to reinforce that we can do international travel, that it's not scary, it's not intimidating, it's a wonderful opportunity to get away and see something else, like seeing the Amalfi Coast. So I'm a little bit of a nerd, but literally since the day that I read about Pompeii in National Geographic when I was 7, maybe 8, I was fascinated by it. I want to see it.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing, like the fact that you can actually lay hands on history through travel, whether it's your own history, whether it's your country's history, whether it's the world's history, but you can touch history by traveling. That's the thing that I love about it.
Yeah. I'm excited for the fact that I didn't plan anything. So that
Yeah.
seems to be one of the default things that I do in our family is I like plan the adventures when we're on a
Mhm.
trip. Like this is what we're going to do on this day and this is what we're going to do the next day. And I love it. I love a good, well-planned trip. And like people ask me what we're going to go see. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you doing on that day? I don't know. I know some basics. I'm showing up in Naples and I am getting in a taxi to Sorrento and my hotel is waiting for me. I know that I will eat gelato that night. That's kind of all I know about what we're doing for 4 days in Sorrento.
Yeah.
Pompeii will happen somewhere in there. I know that we're getting on a sailboat and going out to Capri and finishing the trip to Minori and then spending 4 days in Minori. And I know along the way, we're going to make pizza, see lemons, and wine.
Yeah.
And I'm good.
So that's all we need.
Yeah. And I am going to trust them to take care of the rest of it. And I'm so excited by it because it's just a different way for us to travel because we haven't done it that way before. And so that'll be super fun. I'm sure by day 2, I will be tired of being around people and I'll have to figure that out. Maybe that's where more wine comes into play, but I'm sure it will be awesome.
I think it will be.
Because they surround themselves with awesome people. And so I just am kind of looking forward to those conversations too. Not necessarily that I have to be in them, but that I can just listen to the conversation at a table. Like I loved that from Milan. We went into the neighborhood to eat one night and it was like family style and the kids were playing and families were talking and you could just sit and like listen to all of it. And it was beautiful.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. So a journey is best measured in friends rather than miles. So I'm so excited about this trip. So it'll be interesting to talk about when we come back, how this trip impacted us and how it changed us and what ideas we have for travel in the future.
I think one thing that's interesting about this trip is obviously there's a lot of change happening going on right now with me.
Your job thing.
Yeah. So I think that it will be interesting to look back on the trip and hopefully know that we were able to just completely unplug, that it wasn't hanging over our heads. It's not a concern. Like, let that stay at home.
Yeah.
9 or 10 days that we're over there and just experience the trip. Everything else will be there when we get back. So
yeah,
I think the circumstances under which you travel are sometimes really interesting too.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And not to also put so much pressure on it that it has to be an escape, but that it can be freeing. I feel like there's a nuanced difference there, but
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I love the idea of seeing new places and doing new things. Okay, so that really kind of gets us to the end of today.
Wow.
I know it's fast. So I think the listener question for today is what's one trip that has shaped you and why? Ask someone you love about your favorite trip and what it meant to them, their favorite trip and what it meant to them. You can tell them about your favorite trip too. The dialogue is the part.
It's a two-way conversation.
Yeah. And then like the Dalai Lama says, once a year, go someplace you've never been before.
I love that. Doesn't have to be thousands of miles away.
It doesn't. We have this kind of commitment to ourselves in Arizona that we will go see different things. And so, yes, we go to different sporting events for ASU, but we also go places. So some of our favorite Arizona trips so far have been up to the Navajo Nation. And we got to see the Milky Way at night.
It was amazing.
Went into the
stay in a Hogan and
slot canyons.
Yeah.
So beautiful. The canyon, of course, the big Grand Canyon. It's my favorite place in the world to go. And then what was that hike where we went and there's like that big room and the waterfall? Angel Falls? Havasupai Falls? No, we haven't been to Havasupai Falls. I don't know. I'll put it in the show notes when I find it. Yeah, I'll put it in the show notes when I find it. It was a great hike. It was a great place to go see. It was easy to get to. It wasn't super hard of a hike. And then we loved going to Sedona, going on different hikes there. So even going to your favorite places and seeing them in a different way.
Yeah.
With a different person, taking people to different places. Awesome. What else? Anything else today?
No, I love travel.
I know, me too. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
This set of travel trips is to celebrate also. So I think that's important, right? Yesterday was the start of the celebration. So it was our 25th anniversary of the day we got engaged in New York City. And so we were taking this trip to Italy to kick that off. And then later in November, we're going back to New York City, seeing Hamilton with Leslie Odom Jr. and being back in the city where we kicked this all off.
Where it all started.
Yeah. So lots of trips between now and our anniversary in April.
Yep.
So awesome. Well, thanks for listening in. We're glad you're here.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Take care.